Hello everyone and welcome back to Marion's World for another week, and this week I am giving you a winter garland make. There's the template that will be in my shop as a free download for you, and what they are gingerbread ornaments. There's a heart, there's a round one. Got a little tutorial and it is quick. I think it must be the most quick tutorial I've ever done. I don't know, just the way it is. On the template, really, I was just giving you the shapes if you wanted them, and I've given an idea of the sorts of stitches that I've done, but don't use that as a stitch placement thing because I have just free-handed them in. So it really is just an idea of what you can do for yourself. But anyway, I hope you like them and I'll see you at the end. There are hardly any supplies for this week's Advent garland. I've put a little pattern in just for the shapes that I'm using. Probably don't even need that. But I've got a heart and a circle so far. And I've made the circle one already. And all I'm using is a scrap of this ginger brown felt because I'm making gingerbread cookies out of felt, and I've made the circle one already, and I thought it would be nice to do a piece of white on top to make it look like it was the icing, because years ago Naomi and I did absolutely dozens and dozens of them in hearts and circles and squares and stars, and we iced them all like this and then made the icing pretty with the pipe work. And then when I was coming to do the heart, I thought it was easier to show the stitches without the icing on top. So if you want to put icing on, it is just a matter of cutting a smaller shape out of whatever one you're doing and then embroidering that first. And then all I have done is applique that on with little stitches, and I've made them part of the decoration. I haven't hidden them at all. I've just made them a regular stitch. And I've stuffed it slightly, and I'm stuffing with things out of my thread jar. I've taken my template and I've made two heart shapes. The only bit of colour of this one I've got left. I do have a slightly different brown. I might do a star out of that one. And I'm only using two colours of thread. I've got a matching thread to the felt, or as matching as I've got anyway. And I'm using 3 strands of that when I'm putting everything together. And for my decoration, I'm using white stranded cotton, and I've got all 6 strands in my needle with a knot on the end, and I've got a very sharp point and a wide eye, so my 6 strands can get through. And the fact that the eye is going to make a good hole in the felt to pull there's 12 strands of thread have to come through the hole in your felt. So I'm going to start, I'll just start with this one here. I'm just going to choose this one for the top. It's not really big enough to put in a hoop, and so I'm just doing everything in hand. And it is just building up simple stitching. And let me just go around with a running stitch first. I mean, that's as simple as can be. I take little stitches. I'm going to make sure that the stitches are in from the edge, because I'll be cutting off that drawn on edge. I just draw on with a pen, and then I cut inside that line when I'm cutting my shape out. I'm making these stitches about 1/4 of an inch. I just follow the edge all the way around. It's so nice to do these little things, but I'm really enjoying saving them up, so that come December, when I put my garland up, I might end up with 2 garlands. I might end up one with my Christmassy things on, and then I might end up with this one with the winter garland things on, or I might mix them all up together. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. As you come to the point, you might want to just make sure that your stitches are going to end where you want them to. So I'm going to go down at that point and then turn the corner to come back up the other way. and I'll get all the way around. I've just come down just over 1/4 inch and I'm going to go around again, and this time I'm going to do a series of double French knots. I think they'll look lovely because it's just the way that you pipe the little dots on when you're doing your white piping. And so with the 6 strands, they're going to look quite nicely chunky. And so I'm going to work once and twice, go back to the start, pull my knot to the fabric, and down my thread goes. I'll try and space them out evenly. And so around I go again. In fact, I'm putting the French knots on because that's what I did round the edge of this white one, and I thought it looked really nice. In fact, I made them pistol stitches so they have a little tail on, like the snail trail icing that you do if you're icing the biscuits. I think these must be the chunkiest French knots I've ever done. Well, they look good. They look cool. Now that my row of French knots is done, I'm going to put a snowflake in the middle. And I think if I just identify the middle, and then it needs to be 6 for I don't suppose it matters, but I will just do 3 and then another 3. See if I can space them out by hand. I think I can, but I'll draw this on the pattern, and then if you want to do the same thing you can definitely do it, or just make your own ones up. I think that one's longer than this. I'm not going to worry about that. Let me put another 3 on there, and that'll be my 6 points for a snowflake. And now I can decorate this as I like, really. I'm going to put a little detached chain on each of them. So one there, one on the other side, and a French knot at the top. I'll just do one wrap this time. Okay, I'll just fasten off and put a new thread in, and I'll do the same on each of the little 6 stalks or spokes. You call them spokes? So, detached chain, I'll go to the middle for the single wrap French knot, and a detached chain on the other side. And if I do that all the way around, and then I can see if there's anything else to do. Finishing off with just a little straight stitch across the stalk of where the the detached chains are. I'm just taking it across like that. And what else could I put on? I suppose I could have filled this in with some, maybe I had to put a little star, a little cross, I think. Yeah, why don't I do that? And see what it looks like. Oh, yes, I like that. Could do the double cross, but I don't think I will. Oh, yes, I will. I'm going to just hold it down across the middle, like that. That's lovely. Okay, that's definitely what I'm putting on the other side too then. Now the thing is, can I get them even when I'm just doing them by eye? Let me double check and see what I can do. If it's a bit wonky, I'm not going to worry about it. There we go. And the little holding stitch across the middle, I'll do the opposite way. I'll just go straight over the middle to hold it down. Oh, I like that. Okay, I'm finishing off and then I'll put it together. I'll show you how I'm going to put it together. Just going to cut out inside the drawn line. This is why you shouldn't put your embroidery too near the edge, because I think it's easier to cut them out after the embroidery's done. And then I'll cut out my backing piece. I've got my two pieces cut out, a front and a back. If I match them up together, I've got 3 strands of this brown in my needle, and I've changed my needle to a slightly slimmer one. It's still got quite a sharp point. I'm going to start right in the middle here because that's where my hanging loop's going to be. And I'm going to whip stitch this. So straight through from the back, straight through to the front. I'm going to do it quite small, but it doesn't actually matter whether they are big or small. But the way that I keep my stitches nice and even is that I hold the seam right up with my fingers, and my needle comes in on top of my back finger that's holding, and my thumbnail on the front is sort of where the needle needs to come through. And that's how I make sure that my stitches are the same depth in. But as I say, it doesn't have to be as sort of neat as that if you don't want it to be. With these ones, they're not going to be very noticeable anyway, because I'm using the same colour as the background of the felt. But I definitely come straight through, I'm not coming on any angle, because you want to make sure that you're getting the back of the felt at the same time. And using your own fingers as the measurement is just the easiest way to do it. I'm going to go all the way around until I'm about there and leave myself enough room to do the stuffing. I've just got my gap for stuffing now. First of all, I'm going to take the scraps of felt from where I cut the templates out. I'm just going to give them a snip so they're a bit smaller and use them for stuffing. I mean, it's waste off the pattern, isn't it? I'm always get as many patterns as I can out of what I've got, but there's always going to be the bit that you have to cut around, so they might as well go in. This bit here, I can just scrumble it up a bit. Don't have to be minute, but you don't want big lumpy bits. Then I've got the bits of thread ends from where I've just been cutting things off. I might as well put them in. Then I can bring something out of my jar, and I don't think I need to keep any of that for any reason, so let's just mash them together a bit so I don't have all the felt together, and let's put that in and see how much I need. It won't be very much. I just want it to be slightly padded without it being, you know, too stuffed. Some bluebell threads going in there. Just keep squishing it with my fingers. And if you don't have anything, then use, you know, whatever you've got. You could put a bit of cotton wool, a bit of polyfill, anything. I think that's actually enough. I'll sew up a bit more, and if I need a bit more in, I'll put it in, but I think that's, you can see it's not very thick. It's just sort of about, not even half an inch wide, I don't think. Making sure I keep my edges matched, because now that that's stuffed, just make sure that you're matching your edges up. Yeah, there's a bit of bluebells, a tree off the bluebells, the bluebell block. Right, I think I don't need those bits. Back in the jar with you. As you get round to almost closing it, just give your little heart or your little biscuit shape a squish and a squash to make sure it's all as even as you can get. And then another few stitches, and I'll put the hanging loop on. And for the hanging loop, I will make an extra stitch to make the slip stitching secure. I'm going to go around my finger and back through from the front, and then quite often I go around my finger a second time, so I'll come back through and there again. Of course you could put on a ribbon, you could have put on a white one, a white hanging loop, and but whatever colour you want really. And now I just go round the bottom to secure those loops from coming out. Turn it round, go in from the back. You don't want them to slip at all. Of course, I should have said, before you put them together, you could have put your date on, if you want sort of winter 2026, or you want your name, or you're giving it as a gift. You've got a nice space there to embroider something before you put them all together. So now, well, I've got two so far, little gingerbread biscuit felt ornaments, one that's iced and one without. I'm looking forward to hanging them up come December. Well, I told you it was quick. Anyway, I hope you like them. It's really nice to feel that there's a few of the Winter Garland things already made now, and well, that's including the parsnip and the Brussels sprouts, which obviously I made in December. But still, there's a nice few things that are on the way to being done. And so come December, there'll be some nice new things for me to hang up. And I hope if you're saving them up too, you've got a nice little collection going. So that's them. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments about the bluebell wood. I really am happy that you enjoyed it. And which brings me to the fact that next week will be the start of the May flower portrait. And at this moment, I haven't actually decided what it's going to be. I have a few contenders. Could be primroses, they're out now. Can't be bluebells because I've done them already. It could be a tree because the blossom of the trees are out. In fact, I'm maybe drawn to a tree blossom portrait. Honestly, sometimes I don't know what it's going to be till I pick my needle up. I've said that many times. Sometimes I sit down without a clear idea. I put thread in my needle, I pick my needle up, and then the idea arrives. So whatever I think I might be doing now might not be what happens in the end. You'll just have to wait till next time and see what it is. So thanks very much for watching and for all the lovely supportive comments I've been getting about the bluebells and everything. It's really lovely. And I've had people looking at the phonology wheel, and that's still such a popular video. So thank you very much everybody for that. And I'll just leave you with my my gingerbread biscuit, what they call gingerbread cookies. There's a name for them, I'm sure. So a heart and a circle, and I did actually do the star. They had to do it in the different colour fabric. So it's not quite the same colour, but it turned out nice just the same. So I'll see you next time. It'll be the start of the Mayflower portrait, and you'll see me in my sewing room just the same next week. Bye everyone, thank you so much.